A lot of time people think that mobile car detailing is just washing cars, while actually it is not. If it is structured properly and planned properly, the car detailing business is one of the biggest, largest scalable business model with recurring revenue and high margin local operations. And unlike many startups or many retail businesses, you can start this business very lean and you can grow the business over the period of time without having a huge operational expenses like a retail, like lease, like those kind of things. So today I will walk you through how to start a mobile detailing business which can help you in generating $1,000 revenue per day. So stay tuned. Hi. For those who are new to my channel, I am Rahil Sheikh and I'm a business consultant and advisor at Acquisitions LLC. We help first-time investors or the new business owners to launch, scale and grow their businesses across multiple industry sectors. Mobile car detailing business is one of those business activities which looks very simple from outside, but operational structure determines the whole profitability and the scalability of the business. So let's break it down properly. So at first, let's understand why car detailing business still works in the year 2026 and above. Because the detailing industry continues to grow because people keep the cars for a longer period of time. If you have noticed, the luxury vehicle ownership is increasing, and any luxury car owner, if you have spoken to, he would agree to the fact that they do not want to go to the traditional, automatic car washes because that does not provide the care to the luxury cars, to the exotic cars, which their owners are very concerned of. And then, other than the demand, why this business works for you? Because unlike any traditional retail brick and mortar business, like traditional car wash or traditional restaurant business or a grocery businesses, you are not tied up with the hefty amount of leases, with the long terms and conditions of the lease agreements and lease tenures. And also your business is not a location or a lease dependent. It's mobile, which means you structure a mobile vans or a mobile equipments, and you can move to the customer's place and you can offer your service at their convenience. Now you might say that there are a lot of local detailers which is available. You can go to the Facebook marketplace, search for a mobile detailer. You will find a couple of guys, good dudes, who would come to your place, bring some buckets, pour some water and some shampoos, and they can do the detailing. Yes, they are, but the reason why, if you have noticed, most of these independent contractors or independent businesses never grow or never scale because they are never structured to scale. So if you want to make it a business which is scalable and you are serious and passionate about scaling and building a business empire, then you need to structure the business right from the ground. And that's where it comes to the startup capital or a startup cost to start a business. Yes, you can start this whole business with buying up $500 equipments and supplies from Home Depot, and you just put it in the trunk of your car and you can start detailing by posting it on the Facebook marketplace. That's a side gig kind of activities. You can do that in the beginning just to learn the understandings of the market and the dynamics, but that's not how you should scale. If you want to make it as a business, then you should structure it nicely, which means you should first and foremost you should go for a van, a commercial van. A minimum van which you can go for is a Ford Transit Connect or Nissan NV200. So those kind of smallest van is the entry point, should be your entry point into this industry. And then you need to set up a whole equipment. Now that equipment includes a whole professional skids installed into the car, not like buying a cheap pieces of wood and just put it everything, dump it into the van. No, you need to make it a proper installation. You need to put the hose, reels, the structure, the whole skid. You need to have a water tank. You need to have an air pressure. You need to have a pressure washer, a generator to pass the energy. You need to have the chemicals. The most important is you need to wrap the vehicle with the decals. You need to do the branding because that generates you a passive clients. And referrals, you need to have a proper insurance, you need to have the licenses based on your counties and the cities you are going to do the service for. So that's how you structure a whole business. So in terms of the investment dollars, you might end up spending with, let's say, a $25,000 van with a 3 to 5 years old model, and you would spend at least a $15,000 to $25,000 on all of those equipments, tools, and supplies. So all in all, you are talking about at least a 50 grand in terms of a whole setup cost, which includes a professional branded detailing van and a detailing equipment. Now, you do not necessarily need a whole $50,000 coming out of your pocket. You can lease the van, you can finance the van, you can even finance the equipment, you can finance the whole of the setup. That all goes based on your individual credit, because the first step would be you open a LLC company, limited liability company, because you do not want that you are going to service or a detail a Lamborghini and you scratch it, you dent it, or you make a loss or a damage, and then the lawsuit comes against you and your personal assets. So the most important is you need to protect your personal liabilities by forming a separate LLC, limited liability company. So you have a separate company, you have a separate insurance, and you have your personal credit would be used to be the guarantor on the business, because you are building a new business, right? So you will become a personal guarantor, but your liability is protected under the LLC protections. And then all of this 50,000 equipment, which is including van and equipment, or you can do the financing for, and you might end up paying, let's say, $1,000 a month, and you have a whole professional setup ready. So next thing after your equipments are ready is you need to build up your online presence, your online engine. And when I say an online presence or engine, it's not only $100 website. I'm talking about Google My Business listings. I'm talking about a complete engine, a booking engine in terms of a website which can run the ads, which can do the bookings, which there is a CRM installed to that, there is a whole marketing tools installed to that, there is a professional advertisements happening on your social media channels. You create your social media handles so that you can document every of a service which you are trying to do. You can document it because that builds the trust amongst the audience and the local community. The next most important thing would come is the package your service, which means you are not necessarily only doing a car wash. You are providing much more than that. Now, what are included in that setup is you can do the interior detailing, you can do the exterior detailing, you can do the full body interior plus exterior detailing, you can do the ceramic coatings, you can do the paint protections, and you can do a weekly, monthly, or annual vehicle maintenance subscription model as well. Subscription model is very important in this business because that will bring you constant and consistent predictable revenue streams, because you would have the members who are waiting for your car washes or detailing services, or to manage their whole fleet or individual cars on a regular basis. And you need to understand the difference between a side gig or a side hustle and a real business is the predictability that you are making memberships, you are making a constant, consistent, predictable revenue streams for your business, and that's the place which will help you to scale your business rapidly. Now let's talk about the unit economics. How do we claim that this particular setup can help you in generating $1,000 a day? Means on average, if you do an interior and exterior detailing services, so average price range between $200 to $450 depending on the services and the vehicle size itself. It matters, but let's take it an average of a $250 per service. Then each service will take you around 90 to 120 minutes in order to perform the whole service of the vehicle. So let's say even if you are doing a 90 minutes job and you are taking 4 jobs a day, so 250 into 4, that makes it $1,000 a day. And that's, I'm not giving you a fantasy, I'm not giving you a fake hope or a green picture that you will get rich quick overnight. That's not happening. Yes, in order to book your 4 appointments a day, constant, every day, will take time. You need to build up your reputations, but this should be your target to start or launch your business, that eventually in a month, in a 2 months time period, you should be reaching to that scale with that, because that's the time when your actual scalability will start. So if $1,000 a day you are making in terms of a revenue, now that can translate into $30,000 if you do a whole 30 days job a month, or $22,000 even if you do 22 days a month, and you take 8 days for your family, friends, and all of your personal things. So $22,000 revenue with just one unit. Now let's break it down in terms of the unit economics of profitability. So in terms of the equipments, labor, and all of the supplies, you might end up let's say somewhere between $70 to $100 per each job. So that means if you have 4 jobs a day, so that becomes almost $400 a day in terms of your labor, your costing if you are doing yourself, or you are hiring somebody to do the job for you. So that makes it a $400 in terms of all of your operating expenses. Now if you take your marketing and advertisement expenses also, so let's say a 10% or 15% at max is an ideal spend of your revenue for your marketing, so that you can continue building your brand, right? So $100 a day you are spending for your marketing. So that comes to a $500 a day in terms of your expenses. Now if you even add another $100 or $150 in terms of your insurance, your legal, your software, your technology, or some other miscellaneous expenses, or even the maintenance of the vehicle, so you are still ending up between $350 to $500 or $400 a day in terms of a net profit, and that's purely based on one vehicle or one van. That translates into almost a $10,000 net profit per month. And now if from that $10,000, if you have financed the vehicle, then you reduce that $1,000 or $1,200 in terms of your lease payments, you are still ending up a decent $8,000 to $9,000 net profits sitting in your bank account and building your business. Now if you multiply that units in a couple of months from 1 unit to 2 and 5, then that's how you multiply your monthly income as well. So will that be a super easy thing to build a $10,000 a month profit business? So the answer would be definitely no. But you need to have the consistency, the passion, the dedication, the focus, and you need to put your energies to the business so that it can build up and it can scale up to a level where it can reach to a 10 grand a month, then a 20 grand a month, and then it can go up to 100 grand a month, which is absolutely practically possible. Now the strategies for that, a quick run through for that is, you need to go with the higher income suburbs, you need to go with the exotic car or fleet owners, you need to go with the corporate which has a big fleets. You can offer them a bulk package or a fleet packages at a discounted price. You need to go with the busy professional areas, and at the same time you can go with the high-end apartment communities, because those are the people who are professionals, who are earning a decent amount of income, and they do not have time or energies to maintain their car. Few of the common mistakes which you should avoid if you are building a scalable business: you should never underprice your service, you should never ignore your branding, and one of the very technical thing which I always suggest: never operate without systems. Because what happens is, when the revenue start coming in, people start ignoring the systems. So if you start ignoring the systems, you are not building a business which can work without you. That means you would end up spending every day and every hour of your life into the business to generate the next revenue. So you should focus on building the systems, not only the revenues. And the most important thing which you must do is leverage the social media. You have to go to all of the social media handles, so all of the social media accounts, you post your all the activities 3 to 5 times a day. That brings the credibility, that brings the trust, and eventually that trust can convert into your constant revenue for your business. And how to scale it? You just need to rinse and repeat, which means once you sustain and scale your 1 unit economics or 1 unit business, and you get a saturation in terms of your bookings and appointments, that's the time when you go for the next one and the next one and the next one, and then you expand your operations into multiple cities and then to the multiple states eventually. And if you still feel doubtful, you are not sure, you need any further discussions, and you need help or mentorships in order to start, launch or scale the car detailing business, feel free to reach out to me. Me and my team would be happy to address all of your concerns. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye bye.